Hi guys, as you can tell from the title and from the big poofy hat, I wanted to talk about sun protection and how to feed your skin and protect your skin once you have been out in the elements for a time. For the longest time, I have been looking for products that I can use with my extremely sensitive skin. So my skin is known as universal reactor. Anything new that my skin touches makes me break out in hives, it makes me get rashes and that kind of thing. And that is really hard because I live on a farm. My skin is constantly being introduced to new allergens, new irritants, and if I don't take care of my skin and protect it in multiple ways, then I end up having to use like cortisone steroid cream to keep my skin from actually coming off of my body because I scratch it and irritate it and pick at it so much. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So first off, I wear a hat, and when I'm not wearing a hat, I'm wearing my little, you guys know that I wear these little scarves, and so if I forget to get my hat, at least my part and everything is protected, the back of my neck is protected, but I love to wear a big floppy hat. And I like to wear my scarf underneath my hat because if I sweat, it absorbs the sweat. So that's the first thing that I do. The second thing that I do is that when I wake up in the morning, I have a body butter, a shea butter that I put on, and Heaven at Nature's Bath and Beauty makes it for me. And I believe that it has citronella and some other essential oils and everything. And I don't know what else she put in it, but it's her bug away body. Let's see if I can show it to you. It's really, really thick and creamy, and as much as the smell keeps bugs away, I think it also prevents them from being able to bite as much because it leaves kind of a slick on my skin, and it has helped so much. I could show you my feet. I don't know how clean my shoes are. Ugh. This is where I put it, and the reason I put it there and nowhere else is because I walk through a lot of long grass on the farm. And I wear leggings to protect my legs because, again, they're sensitive to irritants and allergens. But if I'm wearing leggings, then it gives a lovely little ladder for bugs to cling onto and climb up onto my legs and actually bite me on the legs. So when I put the citronella on, they're just like, ooh, ooh, get away, get away. And if they do get on, the citronella body butter part of it is there. And it kind of sticks to their bodies, and you know how with bugs they don't do well when they have oil on their bodies. It just keeps me from getting bit. So this keeps me from getting bit. And then when I come in at night, summer is the time of year that I shave my legs a lot. Not because I'm trying to get ready to go to the beach, but because when you do get little passengers that come along that you might not be aware that they're there, if you shave your legs, it helps you get rid of them. Then you can put some more moisturizer on. And Zuzu Bean, if you guys remember the little lotion bar that I got in my first spinning box, it looks like this. It's a little sheet. It's a solid bar, and it looks like a little soap. And I've had experience with lotion bars before, but this is the first one that I have used regularly, and I really can't say enough good things about it because as a farmer or a gardener, you're washing, or a mom or somebody or a nurse, if you're washing your hands a lot, a problem can be that you have sucked all the moisture out of your hands, and if you're using antibacterial soaps, you're also destroying the pH balance and everything on your skin, and your hands can get really sore and sick. And when I knew that I had hit that point was when I was out milking chamomile, and all of a sudden there was blood all over my hands. And I'm like, oh no, was I too rough? Did I hurt my goat? And I was looking all over her bag trying to figure out what had happened, and it turned out that one of my cuticles that had been dry and been irritating had actually split. And I was milking my goat with blood all over my hands, and I had blood in the milk at this point. And it had been after I'd been doing a lot of gardening, and you know that dirt dries your hands out badly. And so I remembered that I had that lotion bar from my spinning box. And I used it for about 2 weeks, and as I started to run out, I saw I can't run out of this because my hands stopped cracking. My knuckles stopped cracking, my cuticles stopped cracking when I used this. And so every time I washed my hands, or I sat down to another project, I had this in my work basket next to me. And the way that you use it, it's important to know the way to use it, because if you don't use it the right way, then it's not terribly moisturizing. You're not really getting that much out of it. And that's why I didn't like the other ones that I used, was because I was like, I didn't really get much of that on my skin. So what you have to do is you have to warm it up, and then you put it on the rest of your hands. Once you have it warm, it melts a little bit, gets onto your hands. And you don't want to put too much of it on, because if you put too much of it on, it is kind of greasy, but what you're trying to do is work it into those cracks that are kind of starting and into your cuticles and stuff. And my husband gets really dry hands, and this would be really good for him if I could remember that it's to be shared and that I'm not to just hoard it in my basement. Anyway, so there's my hands now after having been cracked and bleeding before I really started using it regularly. And this tin has 2 bars in it. The reason I'm telling you about this all is because when you have sensitive skin and you try to use things that are from the grocery store or from the high-end organic stores, a lot of the preservatives they put in it are what is bothering you, or the fragrances that they put in is what's bothering you. So for me, the most expensive part of what I do right now is trying out these things that I couldn't afford before, because it didn't matter how expensive the product was that I was buying from online from these stores and companies. It still always irritated my skin. And so when I had a few dollars to finally throw around, I have found that by far the biggest bang I get for my buck is from somebody hand making it for me. I think we'll just go ahead and give this a try. And I tried it on my body, and it was interesting as soap. And then I went to shave my legs, and I'm like, oh, this would work really well to shave my legs with. This one, because it is extremely moisturizing, but it's not like an oil where it just kind of sticks to your skin. It kind of left a skiff of moisture on my skin as I shaved my legs, so I didn't get any razor burn. And it's called whipped soap, 2 ounces. And when I buy shaving cream from the store, it burns my skin, and so this was a really, really good solution for sunburned, irritated skin when you're shaving them. Again, whipped soap. And it has tons and tons of oils in it. Lanolin, coconut oil, avocado oil, castor oil, grapeseed oil, palm oil, and shea butter. Scented with coconut kiwi. And usually I have a hard time with scents. I think I already mentioned that. If it's not essential oil, I don't get along with it. But hers, they don't bother me. I don't know if it's because they're partially made out of essential oils, or if it's just that they're not a regular essential oil. I could show this to you, but I've made a complete mess out of it. It reminds me of honey butter. The texture is very similar to honey butter, and you can see how much I've used just in the last, I've only been using it for like a week, and I wanted to give it a good run for its money and try it and see if I wanted to talk about it, so I used quite a bit. Okay, this one is kind of a little bit my holy grail right now. In beauty blogs, that's the term they use, holy grail, the product that you can't live without. Lanolin cream. When I first tried it, I was like, ew. This is the one that I was talking about. I'm like, ew. I looked at it and it reminded me of pretty much lanolin. And I could smell a little bit of the lanolin in the background, and I was just like, I would never buy this on purpose. This is so greasy. Why would anybody want to put like this whipped lanolin stuff on their skin? Because it's going to get everything greasy. And then I got a sunburn. And this smells a little bit like citronella. My bug one smells like citronella. So, and it stays on the skin, and it's a little bit greasy. This one, I thought, after having tried it on my legs, what happened was that it was extremely moisturizing, and it kind of stayed on the surface of my skin for a while. And I didn't like that it smelled like lanolin. But I wore it to bed, and when I woke up in the morning, I smelled like flowers, but I didn't smell like lanolin. I could smell the lovely scents, but all of the lanolin and everything had soaked into my skin. And I actually still had a lot of moisture on my skin. So if you're going on a big date and you want your legs to look super nice, this is what I would use. And it's called lanolin cream, and it's the pikaki flower scent. But where this really shines is not date night. Where this really shines is if you have a little bit of a sunburn. if you have a little bit of a sunburn, or you have razor burn, or any other kind of like burn, sensitive skin problem, and you put this on, it soothes it so quickly that you're not having to like reach for aloe as much. I don't have really huge results with aloe vera. I have aloe vera plants and I do use it, but this one re-moisturized my skin and made it so that it didn't have that tight, cracky feeling you get after you have a sunburn. So if you don't like hyper moisturization, you won't like the lanolin cream. But if you get a lot of sunburns, or you have really sensitive skin after sun exposure, or after being in weeds, or after being bitten by a lot of things, my skin calms right down after I use it. So take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it, because for whatever it is, that's what I do. So, all right, so these three things, the way that I shave my legs, my after sun stuff, and my lanolin bars all came from Zuzu Beans. I really like her products. They are hyper moisturizing. So if you're somebody that doesn't like a ton of moisture on their skin, I would just go with the lotion bar. And everybody could use the lotion bar. I love the lotion bar. But if you have dry, sensitive skin, I really like the lanolin cream. And if you don't get along well with shaving cream, I would go for the whipped butter. These are things that I would all purchase again. Those are all things I'd purchase again, and they go a long way. Heaven is on a little bit of a sabbatical for her site, and so this lasts for forever. I put it on my girls to keep bugs away. And then Heaven also has a tinted moisturizer that I use, and I really like it because it lets my freckles and my imperfections shine through, but it keeps me from getting sunburned. Yesterday I went outside and I had done my face and I had done my neck, but I was wearing a slightly lower cut shirt than what I usually wear, and it didn't occur to me to put it on my chest because I'm so pale and I haven't really tanned this year. I couldn't see the difference in color between the two, and I just didn't think to put it on. And I came in later that day, and everything that I had put her tinted moisturizer on was not sunburned, but everything right here that I didn't think to put the tinted moisture on was itchy and sunburned. Not terribly sunburned, but still just a little bit sunburned. So, yeah. I probably went a little bit long-winded on this, just because it's nice to sit here and put lotion on my hands. Anyway,